Hi everyone, Adam from EVO here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to get started connecting your EVO interface to Bitwig Studio. This process is the same for the EVO 4, EVO 8 and the EVO 16. But first things first, before we look at any DAWs, we're going to look at plugging in and getting started with our EVO interface. In this case, I'm going to use the EVO 8, and we're going to get this working with the EVO mixer and have a microphone plugged in and working, ready to go. First thing I'm going to do is get my EVO interface, in this case the EVO 8, and I'm using a Mac, so I'm going to use the USB-C to C cable, although you can use a USB-C to A cable as well, and plug that straight in to my Mac. That also works with Windows. And we see there is allow accessory to connect, and we have to hit allow here. Now that's not the end of the story, that's just the beginning. If you do need to use all the functionality on the EVO 8, including all the phantom power, we do recommend using the USB-C port, because USB-A may not be able to provide all the power. There are exceptions, but USB-C is our recommendation. Next thing we have to do is install the EVO drivers. So to find those, we're going to go to our browser and head to the evo.audio website. Link is down below in the description. Here you can find the products tab and go to the page for whatever EVO interface you have, in my case the EVO 8. And as we go down the page, we will see there is the downloads link at the top. Click on the downloads link, and now we're on the downloads page. Head down to drivers and either click on Mac or Windows driver, whatever's appropriate for your platform. In my case, that would be Mac driver. Now the EVO driver is downloaded, we have to open it and drop the EVO onto applications. On Windows, we would double click on the EVO installer and go through the steps as necessary. On Windows, it is important to have the device disconnected whilst installing the driver and then connect the device later so that Windows can see the EVO interface properly. Now the driver is installed, we double click on the EVO in applications, and that will come up in our taskbar at the top. It will say it's downloaded from the internet. Are you sure you want to open it? Yes, we do. It would like to access the microphone, that's okay. In my case, there's a firmware update required, so I will hit OK and work through those steps. If that's something you come across and you need help, we will have a video on the support page. Once the EVO mixer is beginning to open, the Arc Creative Hub window will come up, which will give you access to the Arc system, where you can find lots of free plugins, software, discounts and offers on audio plugins and other things on here. You can join that. I'm already a member, so I'll click already a member and close this down. Now the EVO mixer is ready, but to open it up, we need to go to our top right bar on Mac or bottom right on Windows and find the E. Click on the E for EVO, and in my case, Show Mixer. With the EVO 4 interface, there's no need to do this, as it's quite a different setup where it's all on interface, but with EVO 8 and 16, we need the mixer to give us the most functionality. Next, we're going to plug in a microphone. I have a studio condenser microphone here, which will need 48 volt phantom power, and I'm going to plug it into microphone input number 1. Once that's plugged in, I need to hit number 1 for channel 1, and then hit the 48 volt button at the top. That will now power the microphone, so that's ready to go. Then I need to set the gain on my microphone, because it probably won't be loud enough to get the right signal from this microphone. Either I can turn up the big knob in the middle to increase the gain, in which case that's manual, or I can use the Smart Gain feature by pressing the Smart Gain button, just hitting the number 1 for just the one microphone, hit Smart Gain again and make some noise. Once you've made the appropriate amount of noise, Smart Gain should be set for that microphone. The same can be done for each other input. Now we have a microphone that's plugged in and working that we can see in our EVO mixer. Let's move on to our DAW. So with Bitwig Studio installed, I'm assuming you found that on the Bitwig Studio website, we're going to open it for the first time. Whether you're opening this for the first time or whether you've opened this previously, If you have a new interface, like I have the EVO 8 here, it will tell me in the corner there is no audio device selected and that I need to choose an audio device before using Bitwig Studio. So we're going to go ahead and click on Show Audio Settings now. So the driver model is Core Audio, it's always that way on Mac. On Windows, we're going to choose ACO because that's the best performing model that will connect the EVO 8 to our computer. And then we need to choose the input and output device to be the same thing, in this case, the EVO 8. By selecting both of those, the rest of the settings have now come up. By selecting EVO 8 for input and output, that has now come up with a whole set of settings that we can change. The first thing is sample rate. Now, sample rate for what we're doing is something we have to select quite early on. 44,100 or 44.1K as you'll often hear it called, is the standard for CD production. 48,000 or 48 kilohertz is the standard that's often used for film production, DVD, YouTube, anything that might involve video. There is 88.2 and 96K. Those are often used for more esoteric production methods. Those are the kind of things where if you know that you need it, you know that you need it. I'm going to choose 48,000 here. Now, block size is currently set to auto. Block size is to do with latency and buffers. When your EVO interface is connected to your computer, there has to be a very slight delay while the sound comes from the microphone into the EVO interface, to the computer, to Bitwig to be processed, and then back again to the speakers and headphones. Now, depending on how modern and high power your computer is, you may be able to reduce this buffer somewhat so that you get a lower latency or a lower delay, so it's more comfortable to work with. However, the penalty can be that, especially with either an older computer or a very complex, high demand project, you can find that you start getting pops and clicks, otherwise known as dropouts or buffer underruns. The way to relieve those pops and clicks is to bring this block size up from where it is, usually to the next setting, in this case going from 256 samples to 512. Now we're also going to set inputs and outputs. So the input buses, we've currently got a stereo in of 1 and 2. I'm going to add another mono bus, so input 1 here. So I'm going to go to add mono and make sure that's mono in 1 selected. Although I could have plenty more monos. So if I keep doing that for all of these, I could have mono in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which would be the 4 microphone preamps, and then the loopback input and output as well. I'm going to delete the 5 and 6 here, the mono ones, and add a stereo, which is the loopback on 5 and 6, useful for streamers. For the output buses as well, I can add, let's say, headphones and change their output to 5 and 6, because on the back of the EVO we have 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and then we have separate headphones, which I can go back to our EVO mixer here and set a few settings to make that a separate headphone out. If we go to Setup and Enable Artist Mix, that gives us a second output on 3 and 4, and if I make this window larger, you will see more inputs and outputs. I'm going to simplify this for the purposes of this video and leave us with just output 1 and 2 as the speakers or headphones, and with stereo in and mono in using these inputs, but you can add more outputs and inputs as needed. Once we close that window, there's a large button at the top which is Activate Audio Engine. Now, once the audio engine is activated, we're off. Now we can get recording, and our default project has an instrument ready to go and audio. So to get more audio, we're going to hit record on the audio channel here, and I'm going to change the input at the bottom left from stereo in to mono in. And now we should see equal levels coming in from this microphone as I talk. Now we can hear this being processed through Bitwig Studio, and if I was to add any effects on this audio channel, you would hear them, but that does incur that latency with the block size that we talked about earlier. So what we can do here is we can turn this off and suddenly you won't hear that. But if we go to our EVO mixer, you can see the levels moving on channel 1. If I was to drag the fader all the way up, you would then hear that in near zero latency through the microphone, through EVO 8, and then out through the speakers and the headphone outputs. The downside of doing it that way is that if there's any processing in Bitwig Studio, say any delay, distortion, EQ, anything like that, you wouldn't be able to hear that whilst recording. Conversely, if I turn this off in the EVO mixer and make sure I can hear it in Bitwig Studio, any processing that you would like to apply there, you would hear, but with that short latency where the signal has to go through Bitwig Studio. If you want to add audio effects onto your vocal in Bitwig Studio, you can see them all on the right hand side here. So I could drag and drop something like distortion onto audio 2, and suddenly that distortion appears in the chain here. But like I said, we'll only hear that through Bitwig Studio using the sound from that, and we wouldn't hear that in the near zero latency in the mixer app. Lastly, you may come across an issue that I call ghosting, where you hear two copies of the audio playing at almost the same time. So it sounds like a kind of a doubling effect, like a chorusing effect. That can happen if you're monitoring through both the EVO mixer and Bitwig Studio at the same time. The way to remedy this would be if the fader, for example, for mic 1 was up and monitoring was on in Bitwig Studio, you might want to go to the EVO mixer and turn the live monitoring off there. That way you're only hearing one copy of the audio processed as intended. And that's how to get started with Bitwig Studio and the EVO series of interfaces. There are plenty of Bitwig Studio specific tutorials out there, but this is very much focused on getting your EVO started. And if there's anything else that you need that's EVO specific, have a look on the EVO YouTube channel. There are plenty of videos there. And if needed, we can always help you with our support team. Thanks for watching, good luck, and I'll see you out there.